Wake up, little one. You ready to eat?
Kitten season is the time of year where female cats start having a lot of litters, and people start finding those litters and then bringing them to animal shelters. I've been at the Richmond SPCA for almost 5 years now. My background beforehand was in the adoption center where I worked as a counselor. Something that's just been so cool coming into this role is actually seeing these kittens start off as so young, like less than a week old, when beforehand I would only see them once they're available for adoption. So it's just been really wholesome to watch them grow and finally be able to go out there and find a forever home. I've been so impressed with the amount of detail that goes into kitten season and keeping things organized and, restricting the chaos and making it doable, and just the amount of effort in every single person to make this work.
Just when we think we have everything figured out and they're all placed, that's when the phone rings again, and that's just the nature of kitten season here.
Hello?
My role at the Richmond SPCA is coordinator of transfers, which entails talking to our over 45 Virginia partners and coordinating with them to have teams come out to their shelter to help alleviate any stress that they have in space concerns. Kitten season is probably the most stressful part of our admissions job because it doubles our intake numbers, which causes extra work and longer days.
Kitten season is chaotic enough as it is. Sometimes we do have outbreaks, so it definitely takes a lot more care and consideration and teamwork from our team members and staff, and it usually makes it a lot more difficult to place them into foster care because there are a lot more restrictions needed.
There's a lot of moving parts in our shelter. There's a lot of teams operating together to get these kittens in, to get them into foster care, and then to get them adopted. So there are people, staff members, volunteers handling the kittens, and we have to be extra careful. These kittens, we don't know what they're carrying. Some of the diseases they're carrying can be extremely contagious to other kittens. Kittens are typically brought to us in a couple of varieties. When we're lucky, we might get moms with their kittens. That's the best case scenario. A kitten that's on their mom, that's going to be cared for their mom, is going to have the best chance of survival. The issue typically is in the orphaned kittens that come in without moms, and that can be a very young kitten that is not well established yet. That first 24-hour period on mom is when the kittens receive colostrum. It provides all of the kittens antibodies, their immune system, until they can create their own innate immunity. So we get these kittens right away. It's a question of what is their immune status? Are they at increased risk of infection? We have to worry about warmth. We have to worry about nutrition. These are all things that are really important, especially in the very young kittens that need to be fed every couple of hours.
When a new batch of neonatal kittens arrive, our team coordinates with our foster care department to see what fosters are available and if we are able to offer that support right away, or if we just need to provide resources for those Good Samaritans or other shelters to be what we like to call a Band-Aid foster for overnight until we can line up someone who is more familiar with the process and more confident in taking care of a bottle baby long term. When we talk about Band-Aid fosters, a lot of times it is our staff that does that, because we do find that some Good Samaritans are just overwhelmed by that work that a bottle baby takes, because they do need to be fed regularly every 2 hours, but our staff has an experience to help those bottle babies.
For a neonatal kitten, you're making a commitment to a sleepless couple of nights, couple of weeks, because you are filling in for the mom of an orphaned kitten or a whole litter of kittens. Not only are you feeding kittens from a bottle, you're also providing them the heat source that mom provides with her own body. You're keeping them clean, and all of that is done every 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depending on the age of the kitten. So it's lots of recurring alarms that you set to make sure that you're staying on a schedule so that you know that they're healthy and thriving and putting on weight. It's a part of fostering that there is occasional loss as well. And you know that even when you lose a kitten, that he was warm, he had a full belly, and that he had had every comfort and every chance to survive.
Kitten season depends on foster care. It depends on every department. While they're here, the animal care team is working so hard, the IVS, Internal Veterinary Service is working so hard. We wouldn't survive if we weren't able to get these kittens out into foster care.
Since we're a no-kill shelter, a lot of our partners are in positions where they do have to make those hard decisions when space becomes a problem. And that's why they call us to come in and help them out, because they know that the animals that they care about come to us and can stay here until they find their forever home. The Cinderella Fund allows us to say yes all the time.
For us to get a neonate to that 8-week period, we have vaccines, we have dewormers, we have fecal testing. At the minimum, we have the supplies that we need to bottle feed them, to get them through just to be big enough for surgery, which of course is another cause. And that's just for the healthy ones. And then for all the unhealthy ones, we have such a variety of oral medications, eye medications, injectables, serums, additional testing, everything that just adds up on a tremendously long and complicated season like kitten season. If it wasn't for the Cinderella Fund, we wouldn't be able to provide so much care for so many kittens.
Neonatal kittens are incredibly vulnerable, so it's always so great and such a miracle for them to make it to 8 weeks, to be old enough to go into a home, and it really takes wonderful special people to be able to put in their time and effort and homes to be able to help raise them, knowing that it's such an emotional bond that you're attaching to something that you watch grow up.
When you've agreed to foster, you're really committing to a tight schedule. Everything revolves around the kitten's next feeding. So, if you're gonna commit to going to a show or seeing a movie, it's all timed out around the next feeding. And before you know it, you're setting the alarm to do it all over again.